All right, coverage all week, of course. Hey, head on Sports Sunday right after the news here in about 20 minutes. Look who's in studio. State champion North Shore Mustangs right here at Channel 2. They got home about 5 o'clock this morning after that dramatic Hail Mary catch that secured the 6A Division I state championship late last night in Arlington. I asked the hero, A.J. Carter, about the catch that has garnered national headlines. Walk us through what's going through it as the ball is coming towards you in the corner of the end zone, A.J. Let's start with you.
I just seen the ball. And I know I had to go make a play for the game, so it was either up to me and my little bro. So I just came up with the play. He was there to support and the rest of my team, and we did it.
Great to have the guys in studio. We'll have much more of that conversation coming up on Sports Sunday. And, of course, the latest on the Texans, the loss, and kind of what's ahead now as they look ahead to their home finale against Jacksonville.
Meanwhile, that unbelievable finish. That's going to be a good interview there.
Absolutely. A lot of fun with it.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Randy.
No love in Philly for the Texans today. Blown opportunity with the loss. Good news, thanks to the Saints, the Texans are in the playoffs. But how will they win the AFC South?
Adam Wexler's in Philly, and so is the Chronicle's Jerome Solomon. They will look ahead to the final week. On our Rockets checkup, we break down CP3's injury history. He's down again until after the new year.
Plus, whose house tonight? How about the state champion North Shore Mustangs? In studio, talking about the title and the Hail Mary that won it. Hey, we know you're excited too. Sports Sunday coming at you right now.
Live from KPRC Channel 2, this is Sports Sunday, presented by Nissan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into Sports Sunday. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Randy McEvoy, Laney Fritz with you. Wex hanging out in Philadelphia. We're getting to that. What a day for the Texans.
Yep.
Laney, they had a chance.
I know.
They got away from them.
Yeah, they had the opportunity to win the division, take care of business on their own. They did not, but some good news for them as they've got their spot in the playoffs.
The ticket has been punched to the postseason. That's a great news. We're going to dive right into it right now. You saw in the headlines there. We got some good stuff, including North Shore in the house. Let's take a look at how it happened in the city of brotherly love today in Philly. Texans taking on Nick Foles and the defending Super Bowl champs. Second quarter, Jadeveon Clowney gets the strip sack. He had a great day stat sheet-wise. 12th straight game the Houston defense has come up with a takeaway. Very next play, Deshaun Watson keeps it on the read option, and the Texans, Laney, have a lead 9-7.
Yeah, so after an Eagles touchdown, Deshaun answers again another rushing score. That's his 4th of the year. So Houston up 16-13 heading in to the locker room. Second half, though, the Texans lose 3 corners to injury, and Foles, man, he took advantage of that 83-yard bomb to Nelson Aguilar. Foles, 471 yards passing today and 4 touchdowns.
All right, then in the fourth, add injury to insult, Demaryius Thomas. This was tough to watch. Non-contact injuries, ruptured Achilles. Initial reports, it is indeed ruptured. He is out. He's been a nice boost since he was brought to this football team. All right, the final 5 minutes, Deshaun rallies the offense, had the touchdown to Deonta Foreman. His first game back, by the way. And then rookie Vincent Smith, look at that catch. Got the knee down somehow. 35-yard score. Texans up 30-29.
Yep, but the defense can't hold on. Jake Elliott wins it at the Horn as the Texans lose 32-30.
You know, we got to make sure that, we capitalize on the plays when we need to. And they did. They capitalized on a little bit more. They're defending Super Bowl champs, and you got to give those guys credit and for capitalizing on it.
I mean, we just have to go out there and win next week. I mean, we can't worry about anything else. We wanted to win today, and we didn't. And now we have to go out there next week and win.
All right, both teams airing it out today. 4 touchdowns each for Watson and Nick Foles today. The issue, Laney, for the Texans, Foles 471 passing yards. Ooh. That's a new franchise record.
Yeah, with more on the tough day for the Houston D, here's Adam Wexler over in Philly.
Yeah, guys, it seems like the Texans have essentially held their fate in their own hands since they tried to extend their winning streak to 10 games. Instead, they've lost 2 out of 3, and in both of those losses, the defense has been on the field trying to get a crucial stop that they couldn't get to get the win. In today's game, 9 of 16 third downs were converted by the Eagles, and what's worse, they went for it on 4th down 4 times and converted all 4 of those. And the defense had allowed over 4 400 yards of offense just one time in the first 11 games of the season. They've now allowed that to happen 3 times in the last 4 games, including today's season worst, allowing over 500 yards to the Eagles.
I mean, it's the same about 3 weeks now. We're just giving up too many passing yards. Can't really get the field on 3rd down. We're trying to claw our way to victory. Everybody's not going to miss a kick so we can win a game. So it's got to be better.
NFL, all of them come down to like the last 2 drives or something in the game. A couple plays here and there we could have did better, but they made more plays than we did today. So that's how they won the game.
There's no moral victories. I mean, we've found a way to win games like that all year, and today we didn't, and I'll put that on my shoulders. The offense did a great job giving us a chance, and we didn't get stopped at the end.
And in addition to that, the defense has mounting injuries to the secondary. Jonathan Joseph missing a chunk of today's game with his neck injury. Kareem Jackson, who's barely missed a play the entire season, barely played in this one because of a knee injury. And Kayvon Webster, who'd missed most of the season, only returned today. His quad injury kept him out of action, so clearly an issue of concern heading into their game against Jacksonville, which they need to win if they want to win the AFC South, guys.
Hey, Wex, before we let you go, following up on the injury topic, Laney, you and I saw it happen. Wex did too. The loss of a top receiver, Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, Demaryius Thomas with his Achilles. Yep. Really sad for him, heartbreaking for him, and also sad for this team, Wex. How is that going to affect this offense moving forward?
Well, first off, on Thomas, it was tough to see because as you watched him, he tried multiple times to make his way off the field before ultimately realizing how severe the injury was, and then the cart came out. How it affects the team is what you saw after he left. Vincent Smith taking almost every single snap outside. DeAndre Carter's the slot receiver, and DeAndre Hopkins is going to get blanketed. That wide receiving core really almost has to get Kiki QT back just so they have another body for that game against Jacksonville. And I know I will also address the injury to the Achilles with Jerome coming up in just a bit. He's got a bit of experience with that.
All right, Wex, appreciate that. We'll check in just a little while later here on Sports Sunday. You'll be hanging out with the Chronicles' Jerome Solomon. Good stuff. Appreciate it, Wex. All right, the running game issues struck again today. And Lane, this is a little bit of a concern right now. Yep. 3rd straight week, the Texans have struggled up front to run the football, something they have to do well if they're going to win in the postseason. Today, 19 carries, only 62 yards, an average of 3.3 yards per carry.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern moving forward. Need Lamar Miller back, but he was not there today. So Deshaun Watson led the way with 8 carries, 4 for Alfred Blue, 7 for Deontay Foreman in his season debut. Here's Deshaun at O'Brien, the lack of running attack.
There's no point of changing anything. He's doing the same thing that worked, a couple weeks ago when we were running for 200 yards and everyone was, patting us on the back. So, we just got to continue to do what we do, correct the mistakes, and keep pushing forward.
We've got to figure out how to run the ball better, and I've got to figure it out, and, we're all in it together. We've all got to sit down and when we get back there tonight and figure out how we can run the ball better because it's definitely, it hasn't been good enough.
So what else went on in the NFL today? It was a close one in NOLA as well. The Steelers up 28-24 in the 4th. Drew Brees moves to his right, connects with Michael Thomas for the touchdown. Yes, he was in, and Big Ben would look to answer right after that. He throws a Juju Smith-Schuster, but it's stripped by Sheldon Rankins, recovered by Demario Davis to ice the game as the Saints win it 31-28. So, Randy, the Saints now clinch home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs.
That was a great game today, by the way. They're in New Orleans. Giants in Indy now. Saquon Barkley is going to bounce into the end zone. He's had a nice rookie season. 1-yard touchdown run. Giants looking like a playoff team. 17-7 in third when Andrew Luck starts to heat up. Goes up top to T.Y. Hilton. Texans know that guy. Big gain. Moments later, fires a strike to Dontrell Inman for the 6th. In the 4th, Luck completes the comeback with another touchdown pass to Chester Rogers. Nice comeback for the Colts. They won 8 of their last 9 games, 28-27 the final.
Bucks at Cowboys. It was a big day for Dak Prescott. He runs it in here from the 7-yard line for the early score. But on the flip side, it was a rough day for Jameis Winston, who is flush from the pocket here, fumbles, and Jalen Smith would take advantage, picks it up, and goes 69 yards to the house. Later, Prescott piles it on, connects with Michael Gallup in the end zone. The Cowboys win 27-20, making them the NFC East champs.
Yeah,
last play of the game, barring an offensive penalty. Stepping up. Going to heave one for the end zone. It is caught! Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
I watched this like 5 times
watch it over and
tonight.
over.
Awesome. That was the call for the Texan Live UIL crew. Chase Snyder and my good buddy Bert Brocker. You think they were excited? What a throw by Davis, the catch by Carter. North Shore wins the 6A D1 state title to go with the 2015 and 2003 championships. Celebration is only beginning. What a scene last night at Arlington, the final play. And look who's in the house, lady. We got some North Shore Mustangs with us. Who's to your left here?
All right, so I've got A.J. Carter. I'm sure you recognize that name by now, the guy who made that catch. I've got Jordan Revels, and I have Demetrius Davis down there on the far side.
All right, to my right, Shadrack Banks, a sophomore wide receiver, and assistant coach Joe Price. Guys, thanks for being here after, I know y'all rolled in about 5 o'clock in the morning. How has this sunk in so far that you guys are state champions? How's it feeling right now? Are you numb right now after last night?
It's crazy. The feeling just feel great, amazing.
Demetrius, I heard you after the game say it felt like you were playing a video game right now. When you looked back and you watched that video, did you think the same thing?
Yes, man. It feels like not real. Like the moment when it happened, it felt like it was unbelievable. It was a great catch.
Coach, you've been around these kids. Nothing surprises you. You guys had a fantastic season. What's it like from the coaching staff perspective?
Same as the kids. I mean, it's amazing. Surreal is the word I kept using. I mean, I couldn't even imagine, the game would end that way, but I'm glad it did. I'm glad it ended with us as champs.
All right, Layden, we got to talk about the play now. Let's get into the minds, and I want to start with Demetrius. You're the quarterback. Walk us through what's going through your mind on this play.
I just had to know I had to give my receiver a chance. I had to just put it up to where one of them could catch it. And I put it in a spot where one of them could. They both could have caught it, and it just turned out our way. It was heavily favored for us.
My question is, how much do you guys practice those type of scenarios when you're at practice? Or how much was that just going out there and doing it?
Hail Marys, that's like an every Thursday thing. We rep it and just chunk it downfield. They catch it in practice, but we don't have no defenders. I'm just glad it worked when we did have defenders.
You guys were telling us your cell phones were blowing up after this game last night and throughout the day. AJ, let's bring you in now. You were on the other end of that catch. Shadrack, you're in the end zone as well. The ball's coming to you. Walk us through what's going through it as the ball is coming towards you in the corner of the end zone, AJ. Let's start with you.
I just seen the ball, and I know I had to go make a play for the game, so it was either up to me and my little bro, so I just came up with the play. He was there to support and the rest of my team, and we did it.
And Shadrack, what were you thinking? Because I was getting worried. Was that the chemistry between you guys that you kind of knew, okay, he's got it, now I've got to back off? Or what are you thinking at that moment?
I seen the ball in the air, I was like, I'm going to catch it and we're going to win. but then, as I was in the air, I had 2 hands on the ball, and I seen AJ. So I kind of pulled him down, and I just went crazy after that.
So if you didn't have it, you would have had it. So either way, y'all both would have got it.
I mean, this is like as little kids playing the game. Don't you dream of situations like this that it will come down, whether it's a Super Bowl or in this case a state title game? You want to play like this to end the game, and in your case, Jordan, ending your high school career as a senior going out in style.
Yes, sir. It's just a good feeling. We could have did a lot of stuff better, but I'm glad we came out on the good side of it. Yeah.
AJ, I saw you tweet something. You guys are the national champs. Tell us why you said that.
We're the number 1 in the nation. Nobody better than us. That's the best
I think that's true.
Well, before we let you guys go, you got the big trophy. I know you're going to celebrate that when school resumes. Show off your medals now. These are the gold medals you got last night from the UIL.
Hey, man.
How's it feel to wear these things and go home champions?
Feel good. It's crazy.
Got the gold.
Got the gold.
Got the gold.
And message delivered for the guys coming back next year. A lot of talent landing on this football team. Now the chance to repeat, that's a long ways down, but is that the goal now?
It's never been a goal. Goal always to get better, but hey, we got better and better every week. We had good times, we had bad times, and we came through for each other, and we got the dub.
All right, well, we appreciate y'all coming in. Great stuff. I know you're lacking some sleep after last night, after the 5 a.m. arrival, but hey, congratulations, 16-0, state champions, the North Shore Mustangs. Way to go,
Congratulations, guys.
Appreciate the time, man. Outstanding. Had a lot of fun with the guys. Hey, still to come on Sports Sunday. Back to Philly. We're going to check in with Adam Wexler. He's asking the Chronicles' Jerome Solomon about the loss of Demaryius Thomas, and will the Texans win the AFC South?
Plus, coming up, another hamstring injury for CP3, and it's coming at a tough time. What this means for the Rockets, we'll talk about that next.
We have a mentally tough team. We do. We have a mentally tough team. And, look, at the end of the day, it's a long season. We're a 10-5 football team. And, we didn't do enough today. Philly did more. We've got to just get back, regroup, and get ready for Jacksonville.
That was head coach Bill O'Brien after today's tough, physical, emotional loss for the Texans, joined now by Chronicle columnist Jerome Solomon. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to start with the Demaryius Thomas Achilles injury. Unfortunately, you have experience with that, and you diagnosed it almost immediately.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have dealt with it, and you can tell, he was feeling a little pain. He knew something was wrong, but it didn't really hit him until he tried to lift the foot, and you can't do it when you tear your Achilles. And it's a devastating injury for especially someone who's been in the league as long as he has at this stage of his career. At the end of a season, I doubt if he'll come back and play for the Texans. He may not play again in the NFL. It can be that devastating.
And Thomas is a guy who's barely missed any time in his career. He had the longest playing game streak going into this game. Mentioned a little bit about what it could do to the Texans. What can the Texans do with that group, and where does Vincent Smith now fit into things?
It's like, what can they do? They just try to find guys wherever they can. Vincent Smith is an undrafted free agent. The guy's played in 4 games. He hasn't even been active for about 2 months. Had 1 catch before today. Had 1 huge catch today, and you're just going to have to depend on guys that you haven't depended on before to see if they can deliver. Keke Coutee, as you mentioned, has to get back. That guy is very important. He's important what they do without the injuries, but the injuries are mounting up, and the injuries in the secondary might be more important than the injuries at receiver.
The problem for the Texans the last couple of weeks has been their running game. Nothing changed today. What should they be doing when they're trying to run the football?
They're in a situation where they cannot afford to bang their heads against the wall, and that's what they're doing. If your running game is not working, your offensive line isn't getting any movement up front, you got to give the ball to Deshaun Watson and say, win the game for me. The Eagles didn't run the ball either. They let Nick Foles just throw and throw and throw, and they're like, that's the only way we're going to win today. The Texans, when they finally decided to do that, they went up and down the field. They have to decide to do that earlier. They have to open it up. They cannot be a conservative football team and beat better football teams, especially when your secondary isn't stopping the other team from moving. They don't have Earl Campbell back there, so they're not going to move the ball on the ground. Deshaun Watson has to be your star.
Not much of a comment to try to be angry at the officials from either Bill O'Brien or Jadeveon Clowney on the roughing the passer penalty. The league via Twitter indicated that was the correct call because he lowered his helmet into Nick Foles. How did you see it?
Yeah, at first live, I thought it was a terrible call. Slow motion, I can see where the head dipped down a little bit. Yeah, that call, that's the rule. He broke the rule. It cost the Texans big time.
If the Texans are going to be AFC South champs, Jerome, they have to beat Jacksonville at home to close out the season. How do you see this finale next week playing out?
I've been calling the Texans winning everything for a long time. I'm surprised they weren't able to pull it off today, but with all the adversity, the injuries, etc., you can see them losing to a team that's desperate, a team that needed this win to move forward. Next week, they're not playing a desperate team. They're back home. But, man, these injuries are scary. You just don't know how a team's going to respond in those situations and how guys who haven't played are going to respond when the lights are on. And it's a desperate situation. You lose. They could be in a situation where they're really in big trouble, but they have Deshaun Watson. As long as you have Deshaun Watson, you have a chance. You should be able to win a lot of games, and you should be able to beat Jacksonville at home. It would be so Texans for them to lose that game, but I think this is a different Texans team. I really do, and we'll probably get to see it next week, and we certainly get to see it in the playoffs and probably in Foxborough in a few weeks. Then we'll really know if they're a different Texans team.
Yeah, if it's a different Texans team, it's that quarterback. A 4-touchdown day for Deshaun Watson. The team had 4 touchdowns. He had 2 on the ground, 2 in the air, and now it's that game against Jacksonville to try to win the division. It's going to wrap up our coverage here from Philadelphia. For Jerome Solomon, Houston Chronicle columnist Adam Wexler, we'll send it back to you guys in Houston.
All right, Wex, Jerome, appreciate it. Good stuff from out in Philadelphia. Again, Texans have to rebound. It's going to be an interesting week. Let's switch gears down to the Rockets. They lost just once this past week. That was Thursday night over in Miami. And, Laney, they lost more than just that game.
Oh, yeah, they did. Chris Paul with a left hamstring injury midway through the second quarter. Team sources tell me that he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks, and he's likely out 3 to 4 weeks. But this is just the latest setback for the future Hall of Famer since coming to Houston. I mean, he's already missed 3 games this season with a left leg injury, and of course was out for games 6 and 7 of the Western Conference Finals with his other hamstring. That's probably the most memorable, that hamstring away from beating the Warriors.
Absolutely. In less than 2 seasons with the Rockets, Paul has missed 32 games in the regular season and playoffs. Houston's just 15 and 17 in those contests. So an issue the Rockets are dealing with here as we wrap up, getting deep into December. Even without Chris Paul, Rockets got it done against the Spurs thanks to the reigning MVP. He is pretty good. James Harden, 39 points and 10 assists against San Antonio.
And just breaking recently, the Rockets did add Austin Rivers reportedly to give the backcourt some depth. So that will be good, especially with Chris Paul out here for the next few weeks.
See if he can step right in. Hey, speaking of the reigning MVP, today Harden taking some time away from the court to give back. He does this every year. One of his favorite charity events he does, it's his annual Christmas shopping spree. 7th year he's done this. Harden took a group of kids around the Target store over in Pearland, helping them pick out all kinds of gifts for the holidays this morning. James says he remembers what Christmas was like when he was a kid.
I mean, I just know my mom just did whatever it took for me to, have a great Christmas and great holidays, and made me smile. So that's the kind of joy and give back that I want to have, for these families, to make it a Christmas that they won't forget.
A lot of smiles from those kids. So here's what next for the Rockets. Home Christmas Day, the much anticipated matchup with the Thunder. It's always an emotional affair. And then 2 more games to close the week against playoff contenders. The Celtics come to town Thursday, then a trip to face Anthony Davis and the New Orleans on Saturday.
All right, big week ahead. Hey, still ahead on Sports Sunday, Coach Sampson and the Cougs. Hey, they're still rolling. They're undefeated. Highlights for their latest win over Fertitta Center to stay unbeaten. Coming up.
This is Sports Sunday, presented by Nissan.
All right, welcome back. A little college hoops. How about the U of H Cougs? They keep on winning. How about 12-0 now? They just destroyed Coppin State today, 75-44 over Fertitta Center. Corey Davis Jr. knocked down the 3 early on. Davis again, little pump fake and floater. I mean, all the Cougs delivered. By the way, Davis had 16 points today. Houston takes the ball away. Fabian White with a slam. We saw it all today. Expect the Cougs to keep climbing when the new polls come out tomorrow.
All right, Christmas Eve tomorrow. I'll be here, so everybody join me. And happy holidays to everyone, and we'll see you guys again until next Sunday.
Bill O'Brien will talk at NRG. Big week ahead for the Texans. They need to get a win and win the AFC South. For Laney, I'm Randy in Wex and Philly. Have a good night.